So what do you call yourself? Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Hey.
Hey, what can I do for you this fine day?
This is your destiny. Hot, hot, hot.
Right now.
Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Come on in and enjoy yourself.
Right now.
We gon' party like no one else. Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Good morning, sunshine. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you. I'm doing well.
You know, this is your first trip to the hot seat, but I don't want it to be your last. So we'll just agree right now that you'll come back because I have a lot of questions that need a lot of answers.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
I do believe that you were my first captain. You know what I mean? So it's almost like, how did you know that this is something that you wanted to just take on as a career? I kind of read the bio. I saw that it said a dock rat, and I was like, wait a second, hold tight. But how do we go from this being a hobby to saying, I am just so in awe and so in love with this that here we are?
Yeah. So as a kid, I worked and I would pedal my bike down to the docks and I love the ocean. I just look out every morning. If you look out onto the ocean, you see it. It's just a vast space of unknown. And when I was a kid, I work on the docks and I would just take a job, any job. It was whether it's dive under a boat and cut off a rope out of a propeller or work on a local charter boat, cutting fish, working for a fish buyer,
Yeah.
catching striped bass. I was just doing anything on the water as a kid. And harpooners, there was back then there was an elite group of fishermen that used spears to catch bluefin tuna. And bluefin
Okay.
tuna in our area are like the biggest game fish around. They swim 50 miles an hour. They can grow up to 1,000 pounds. So tuna harpooners were always like a professional baseball player to me. So I always wanted to do it, and I worked hard, and I got on a harpoon boat any chance I could and learned the trade.
Yeah. And here we are with Discovery Channel premiering on January 24th to give the rest of the world just a little behind the scenes coverage and inside scoop on Harpoon Hunters. You know, when you start talking about a fish that can grow up to 1,000 pounds, I'm from Louisiana. So if you say we got fish that size, I'm thinking fish fry by 3. But these are like some big game type situations. And each fish got a heavy cost to it too. So it's not like you're just out here for a hobby. Tell me a little bit about
Yes.
that because that
Oh,
is different.
totally. Totally. So we have only 70 metric tons to catch, and the total allowable catch between United States, Canada, Mexico is 2,300 metric tons. So we have a real small portion of the quota, but our fish get the best price because by the way we do it, they don't suffer, and it's the best quality because when we hit them with the harpoon, we instantly like tase them and they die instantly. So there's no lactic acid buildup. And we only take one fish at a time, so it's sustainable.
Okay.
These schools of fish, they can be 50 to 100 in a single school, and they migrate in other parts of the country, world. These same school of fish will get netted. The whole thing will get netted, and they bounce off each other, and it really hurts the grade of the fish. So we get a lot of money
Now,
for
these
our
are the things
fish.
that we
Yes.
don't think about. You know, and as you ship these out and they go out across the world, you know, people will wonder, well, why is this price tag the way that it is? Because of the efforts that have gone into it that we don't know about beforehand. But you have to have the
That's
nerve
right.
of steel to look at those boats, to look at that water and say, I'm going after it. Like, what is that adrenaline rush like for you?
Oh, it's definitely a lot. I mean, the thrill of you're basically on a it's dangerous. I'm 20 feet in front of the boat on a little basket. I'm not even strapped in, and I'm throwing a 10-foot pole at a freely swimming fish. I mean, what could go wrong? You're in the middle of the ocean too, so
I mean, the
it
fish
gets
could be out
crazy.
here technically fighting for his life. And you know what I mean? And at that day, it's anybody's game. And you're playing a
Yeah.
dangerous game out here in this water. How do you select your team? Because they have to be just as passionate, and you can't be out here doing this by yourself, right?
Yeah, no, I need a trusted wheelman because he's in charge of the electricity. So if he doesn't like me, he can electrocute me when I'm holding on to the pole, you know.
Be good to him.
So I make sure I buy him coffee in the morning. Um,
Exactly.
then I have a pilot. So my pilot takes off and he's flying over vast acres of open ocean looking for these fish. So his job is just as dangerous because if his engine quits, there's no way he's making it back to land and he's ditching. So we're always in communication to make sure we know where he is because that side of the job is dangerous as well. So it's really fun to watch, and I'm glad that Discovery and the Harpoon Hunters production team gets to witness this and really share this with America because it's very unique the way we do this.
Yeah. Is there a certain season that you go out? What is the preparation like before you even get to that point?
Yeah, so it starts in early May, April. We have to start preparing the boat because the fish show up um, June, the early mid June. The quota officially opens June 1st, so you got to be ready. June 1st, the boat has to be ready. The plane has to be ready. You have to have all your harpoons sharpened, and um, it could happen any day. I mean, the big thing about this fishery is that 70 metric tons fills up real quick. So there's about 20 or 30 guys that do this professionally. And if you're not catching, someone else is. So you really can't miss on any opportunity that you get.
How do you manage the quality of it? You know, you may be out here, you see it, it is hard for you to be in this basket in all of this water with a helicopter above you and some guy that hopefully likes you enough not to let you get electrocuted and see this fish just swim by and say, this is the one. You know, like how
Yeah.
do you have an eye that's trained for that to where you know that this is going to be one that's, you know, a big game fish catch?
So it's a lot of times you can't be picky. So you're going to take the chance you can. Bunches. One thing that's going to be amazing is the drone footage. You see these fish swimming along in different formations. Sometimes they're lined up like soldiers, and we call them soldiers, but they're all spread about 15 feet apart. And if the bunch is trailing a little bit to the left or right, we'll pick the one that's in back because he's not going to see us as quick. If you come up the wrong side of the bunch, the ones behind that one will see you, they'll see the boat, and then if he moves, they'll all move. Like when one gets scared, they all get scared and swim away. So it's an ambush, and you try to between the pilot, he's talking through a big microphone that's about 20 feet behind me, and I
Mhm.
hear what he sees. So like if he says, all right, we got a line of fish, there's 6 of them, he's walking me through what I'm about to see as I get right to that point where we're going to throw. So it's a team effort, and you all have to be in sync.
And once you have your collection of fish, like what's the next step for them? Where do they go? I know you're not just keeping them on the boat. So where are we moving this big game fish to?
Yeah, so we instantly we process the fish, put ice on them, and then that night they could be either going to Japan if the Japanese market is good at that point, or they're going to different fish houses throughout the country. Um, the biggest thing we want to see is this people to realize there's been a kind of perception that bluefin tuna aren't safe to eat because there's not a lot of them. Between the efforts of ICAT, the National Marine Fisheries, and the fishermen, our Atlantic quota has really rebounded. We see more fish now than we ever have. So if we can get Americans in sushi restaurants throughout the country picking locally caught bluefin that aren't imported from other countries, that helps us because that keeps the price where it should be. And they're not getting farm raised fish. Like I said earlier, these fish in these groups are highly migratory. So they don't just live near New England. They swim all the way across the ocean, and they can get netted. The whole thing can get netted. So, that's basically the show, and it's going to be really fun to watch. So enjoy Harpoon Hunters on January 24th at 9
Yeah,
p.m. Friday night.
that's right. 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Show up early, show up hungry, bring some good snacks. And I look forward to getting you here in the hot seat in Louisiana real soon. And make sure you bring some of that fish with you, okay?
That's right. Thank you.
I know you have
Appreciate your
more work
time.
to do, so I'm gonna let you chase the sun or let the sun chase you. But either way, get after it. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I'll see you soon.
Thank, thank you.